hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie, and we're super happy to have you here with us with kind of a new installment we're going to be trying for 2024. If you listened back on our episode that released just this Monday, again, Happy New Year. One of our goals is actually to do more buddy reads together. Alex and I have a bit of a habit of starting our own stories and then just kind of like branching out and reading completely different things. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of trying to hone it in and make sure that when we have similar interests, we're kind of taking those up together. So Alex and I have started a new series together, and we're going to be doing several different talks as like chunks of these release to discuss what's been happening and go into a series in depth. If you have any series you want us to do this with, more than happy to do this with more. But as of right now, we've started with our first one.
Right, so we are starting with Garden of the Dead Flowers. So I think we mentioned this at the end of our last episode, that that's what we were going to start with. The reason that we were both drawn to this was actually the cover art is just absolutely gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
We didn't even read the description going in, and after reading 11 episodes, we did go back and read the description, and I've got to say, I'm glad we went in blind.
I'm really happy. I think, honestly, this is an approach I want to take with more webcomics because, especially with, like, the thriller aspect of this one, It really did allow us to be surprised by a lot of the different twists in it. So you didn't get, like, that spoiler right away.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out with the story instead of, like, having the common knowledge, I guess.
Speaking of spoilers, if you have not read this series, we are going to go pretty in depth into the episodes. So pause.
I'm going to tell you people's eye colors.
Pause, read, and then come back to us once you've read this one if you want to read it without us talking about it first.
Yes, absolutely. There will definitely be spoilers. We'll be basically going episode by episode with our notes of what we found interesting, what excited us, etc. So let's go ahead and dive right in.
Okay, so we start off with the prologue scene, which jumps right in. You see a man and a woman who the woman is being chased around a greenhouse by kind of a crazy looking man.
Kind of.
And she's saying that she needs to get back. She wants to go back in time to her own time of 2020. And you see that she is in 1941 Batavia, which is in Indonesia, and is a Dutch colonization. So right off the bat, we're starting off strong. What did you think of this episode?
I thought the prologue was extremely gripping. I mean, obviously anything where you're kind of starting in the future of the story and have to kind of backtrack to get all of the context, it's a great way to build up that suspense because, again, we went in blind, had no idea what was going on. So when you see a random man trudging through a garden with a head wound and you have no idea how he got it, holding a crossbow and pointing it at a woman, I mean, yeah, like, I was gripped. I was like, oh, okay, this is something I'll read. And I know you will. You always love when your people get kidnapped. So.
I have to clarify that I don't love people getting kidnapped.
Not in real life. Never in real life. Honestly, it's so funny because everything we love in webcomics, I doubt we would actually love that in real life.
Oh, no, not at all.
Like if I saw an actual real life morally gray asshole, heck no.
No.
But
in
I
the
mean,
webcomics?
Fictional man? Yes. I'll have him with my cup of coffee. Thank you. But yes, honestly, it was a very gripping prologue. I mean, we don't know the characters as of, this point in time. And you're just kind of like, what is she talking about? She wants to be from a different time. She's got a wound on her arm. He's bleeding. And
he looks deranged at some points. I mean, there is a panel where he's kind of got the red background, and they do a really good job throughout this series of making him look like average and just kind of going about his day. And then all of a sudden it kind of switches and you kind of see when he kind of gets his creepy vibes on.
I will say it does do a really good job of just instilling that fear. I feel like I actually felt my heart start racing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's like, I'll do anything you want. You have to stop killing people. And he just goes, anything, but what if I want you to die?
And I mean, I don't know. What if he does that? And yeah, so that's where we're starting off. And yeah, that's the prologue.
Yeah, that's open. It's a little strong. It's a strong opening.
It's a strong opening. So then we kind of go back to the first episode. We are in 2020 in Jakarta, which is Indonesia. So it's the modern day town that they live in. So they're in the same location. It's just not Dutch occupied anymore.
Yeah.
So we find Camellia, who is in her 3rd year of high school, and she's talking with a group of friends about biases. Do you know what that is?
I don't. I mean, the insinuation here, because they're talking about like different guys and how they're hot with their new haircut.
Yeah.
I'm assuming bias is like crush,
Yeah,
something
or
like that.
Yeah, beau, something.
Yeah, but
I don't
I've
know.
never heard that term.
I've never heard it, and I couldn't find it. I Googled it, and it just kept telling me about like different biases that people have. I'm like, this is not what I want.
Like my biases for my men in webcomics to not have shirts on.
Yes.
I will say, though, I love this. So Camellia as a main character, I know she goes by Mila, but I'm going to call her Camellia for now because I love that name. But she immediately kind of throws her conversation off with her friends and starts talking about serial killers. And I'm like, this is a girl after my own heart.
It's also very reminiscent of I'm Dating a Psychopath, where she has the same, like she's having a conversation with her friends and saying anyone can be a serial killer. It's very similar.
Actually, so it's the same as well. There's a story, The Guy Upstairs. And Rosie is extremely nervous about everybody being a serial killer. Like, just like automatically assumes. And I love that. I think it's great.
I mean, I relate to that very personally. I think I've told you this story that my neighbor, who I had never met before, came and knocked on my door. And I looked through my peephole because I never opened my door without looking through my peephole. Yeah. And I see a man, a middle-aged man who I have never seen before, standing at my door with his hands behind his back. And I'm like, I'm not opening the door.
Not today, Satan.
No, thank you. And then a few days later, he ran into my husband, and my husband said, "You scared my wife."
Good for him for standing up for you.
They just wanted like some help with the garage door, but I couldn't.
Screw your help with the garage door. You could have been a murderer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to open the door to a random man who I don't know who has his hands behind his back. That's just not a smart move.
No, absolutely not. But I do love just her like anxious nature. I guess that's how I'll probably describe it.
Yeah.
Like you do get the sense immediately that she's like constantly calculating things around her.
Yeah.
She's like, take Ted Bundy, for example. And you're just like, oh, okay, these are like real life references that I know. I mean, I am like a true crime junkie.
Yeah, it is set in a modern world.
For now.
But I mean, it's set in like the real world.
Yeah.
So like you can relate this back to real world events, not like fantasy setting at all. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of have that prior knowledge to the things that she's referring to. I know that's something we don't really get to do much. We do read a lot of fantasy where basically people have to pull us into their own world they've built. So it's kind of nice for it to take place with something we're a little bit more familiar with.
Yeah. Okay, so in this episode, we also meet Tomo DiMaggio?
DiMaggio? I don't know.
And he is also a person at their school.
He's also a dime piece. I ship them, even though this all takes place in 1940, apparently.
But they have a conversation, and I'm really interested because as she's running away, he says, I was planning to tell her. I want to know what he was planning to tell her.
I know.
Do you think because in future episodes, we meet what is presumably his ancestors. So was he going to say something about the grandpa?
I don't think he would know. Would he?
I don't know. Who's to say?
We'll have to find out together.
Yeah, we will.
It's a cliffhanger. But I will say, I mean, she immediately runs off to her grandfather's 96th birthday.
Yeah.
And one, that's impressive.
It is.
That's pretty far off birthday. And he's just like a nice, unassuming old man.
He looks good for 96.
For 90s, I mean, yeah. He looks like he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And then she forces him to make a wish, which my assumption at this point now is that this was her first mistake.
Well, okay, so even taking a step back, when he says, besides, my time is almost up, and there's a little countdown clock on the picture, is that her camera? Like, is she taking a picture, or is there an actual countdown clock there?
I couldn't fucking tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see that, but I don't know.
Because I don't think the countdown clock matches, because there's only 2 seconds left on the countdown clock. So it doesn't seem like it would match up with her falling into the past.
So is she taking that at midnight 02 o'clock?
Maybe midnight 02 o'clock.
I don't know. Like, what do you say? Like, I mean, you just have to say 12:02.
12:02.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's midnight in a 24-hour clock.
Yeah. But he ends up making a wish, and his wish is that he wants to return to the past, fix everything, and save her. We don't know who her is. Is her referring to his mom, who we know in future episodes is dead? Mm-hmm. Is her referring to his wife? Who knows?
I mean, it's all very cryptic.
Yeah.
Return to the past to fix everything. What is everything?
Also, at this point, we didn't really know that the grandfather was a serial killer. So this is what I'm saying with not going in and reading it. The description tells you that she stumbles upon her grandpa being a serial killer. But we don't know that in this episode explicitly. So it kind of, I think that was an added thing that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, she obviously loves her grandfather. She has no idea. Yeah. I think it was nice to kind of explore this and experience it in real time with her, that she's figuring out that her grandfather is a murderer.
Yeah.
But she ends up going into the garden. She gets these mums because the mums that he had in the pot had died. And she ends up insinuating that her grandfather loves mums. They're like his favorite because her grandmother's name is Saruni, which means like chrysanthemum, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then she sees a random cat that she's never seen before. And I'm like, I mean, I love cats, so that works for me. But then all of a sudden she falls into a grave.
One of my biggest fears. Truly.
Like the ground was literally like a pre-dug grave.
Yeah.
And she just fell.
Yeah. Terrifying.
I mean, at least she didn't get buried. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, she was able to crawl out, at least.
But still, at this point, this is when we see her grandpa in the past. And I've got to say, at some points, he's looking pretty handsome. Look at that.
I mean, if he was a serial killer in this modern day and age, watch out, ladies. Modern day Ted Bundy here.
Yeah, I mean, and he's on a date with a girl who I don't think we learn her name in this episode.
We don't.
Yeah. So we just see that she notices that he's got a weird, menacing, kind of creepy look at one point when he's talking to this girl. And she's like, that's weird. My grandpa would never make a face like that. And then she's trying to hide because she doesn't want to be seen. And that's where this episode ends.
I know. I will say, something about this story that was very interesting to me is that she is in denial for a long time that this is even her grandfather.
Yeah.
Even though she's seen the pictures of him from the past.
Mm-hmm. It's his garden.
It's his name.
It's his name. It's his garden.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same setting. The only difference is when she gets back out of the grave, all of the flowers look, like, beautiful.
But you would have to think, like, if this were you, would you be able to just easily believe that one of your family members that you love so much is a serial killer?
Yeah, probably. I had to take a moment of silence. I mean, yeah, if you watched them do it,
I guess that's
I mean,
true.
it would be jarring. I would be upset.
Yeah.
That's not something I want to happen.
Yeah.
But, like, they've made their own life choice.
So we don't see until the next episode that he is a serial killer, though, because he hasn't killed her yet. She's just thinking, like, he's making this weird, creepy face. And then, so jumping into the next episode, they're still on their date in the garden. They're having a conversation. He's saying he's really happy that he's met her and brought her back. And they start talking about, do they want to go back to Holland? And the girl says yes, she does, because she doesn't like living around the inlanders, is what they call the native people there. Mm-hmm. And says that she's disgusted by them. And he is not having this. He gets really mad about this because his mom was an inlander. Mm-hmm. And so he starts saying, like, you know, my mom was an inlander. I was going to let you live a little longer. So we do get to see that he was planning on killing her no matter what. But now he's, like, pissed and going to kill her pretty much immediately.
Now that she's shown her true nature of being a bigot, essentially.
Yeah.
He's going to show his.
Yeah.
And while I appreciate somebody standing up for what they believe in, not how I'd recommend doing it.
Maybe a different way.
I will say, though, I mean, the looks that he makes, the fact that, like, even the way that they portrayed his eye twitch when she said that, and he's like, my inland mother with her tiny brain, like, quoting the woman back to her.
Yeah.
Like, you can see him snapping.
Yeah.
Like, he had this facade and this mask on the entire time, and then just something was said, and boom, like, everything changes.
Mm-hmm. The artist here does a really good job of conveying small details with the eyes.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love it.
I love eyes. I do love, like, his eyes are a bright blue. Mm-hmm. And so, oh, wow, I really did start talking about eye color. That was a joke at the beginning. But, like, the way that they use just, like, the bright, harsh colors, like, it's a really soft palette when things aren't obviously murderous. But, yeah, like, the use of color and just in general, like, all of the different, I don't know, even him standing over the body and just seeing, like, his eyes look like they're glowing.
Yeah. And then we see what he's doing after is burying her and putting flower seeds to kind of fix her. He thinks that she was bad because she had these bad beliefs and wants to absolve her for her bad actions by making her into flowers. And this is when the granddaughter realizes that, oh my gosh, all of these flowers are dead people.
I mean, are they all? Or, like, how did it start?
Yeah. How do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and the unfortunate thing, she ends up knocking over the flower pot. She's, like, hiding behind all of these different, like, bulbs and things that he has set aside on a shelf. She ends up knocking it over. And so now she's got to make a quick escape. Otherwise, she's next.
Yeah, and so that's where that episode ends. And then when we start the next episode, we see the cat has either come back from the future with her or the cat belonged in the past. Because he seems to recognize the cat and she didn't recognize the cat in the future. So probably it's the cat's fault.
I mean, don't blame the cat. I like the cat. He has a cute little bell.
No, the cat did save her in this case because he thinks that the flower pot that was knocked over by the cat.
Yeah, because the cat immediately comes out and, like, meows and everything like that. But it is unfortunate that she dropped her phone, which has also, okay, here's my aside. This is, like, my biggest upset about the entire series so far, and we're 11 episodes in. Her background on her phone is herself. And I'm just like, who does that? Do people do that?
I mean,
like, my background is other people.
Mine is me and my husband.
Okay, but it's literally just her. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one else. It's just her doing a little peace sign.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
I mean,
ooh, look at me.
no.
And it straight up has her name on one of the dingly little charms.
Yeah.
It's just like, hello, I am Camellia. This is my phone. And so she immediately drops her phone in this garden, which, like, I get it. Honestly, if you see somebody get murdered, probably not the first thing on your mind. Mm-hmm. Good for her, because some people would probably gravitate towards their phone. But I, for one, am like, that is the thing that sat the worst with me throughout the entire thing.
But is she kind of smart, though? Because in theory, if she loses her phone, someone's going to be able to find it really quickly.
Oh, no. I mean, I understand her, like, instinct to, like, leave as opposed to, like, reach for her phone. But, yeah, I mean, and then essentially she gets hit by a bike. She's not making the best of choices.
No. But luckily, the person who she gets hit by is the person who she lives with. So, you know, that's easy.
Yeah. And I will say, so this comes back, it's kind of like full circle now. So she's starting to essentially meet people who are associated with, like, her modern day life. So she ends up running into this family that's taking care of her. But they're also the family of her friend in the modern day, Toya.
Yeah. And she had left a note saying that she was leaving. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why Sereni is not there. She actually did leave.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, now it kind of begs to question, did she take her grandmother's place entirely?
Yeah.
Or is she just here and her grandmother is still here, but she's somewhere else?
Yeah. I know the question that we tried not to talk about this too much before we started recording so that we could just, you know, go dive into it. Mm-hmm. But one question that we did keep asking each other is she her grandma? Is she her grandma?
Is it just the fact that her grandfather pointed out they look almost identical?
Yeah. I mean, I look a lot like my grandma, you've seen, and my mother, but not identical.
No, I don't look identical to anybody in my family.
Yeah.
But I will say, I've done a filter one time, and if I had a beard,
you would look like your brother.
Yes. Spitting image of my brother. So thank goodness my beard hasn't grown in yet. No. I will say, I mean, she's just, like, having a hard time at this point. She got hit by a bike.
Yeah.
She's just trying to play it off as amnesia at this point.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know who these people are. If I just pretend like I got hit in the head enough, like, do I just get to say I have amnesia and it's fine?
Yeah.
But, like, realistically, the issues that are presented for Seruni, or technically Camilla here, are, I mean, they make sense. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know Dutch. So, like, all of her classes are getting taught in Dutch.
I can't believe she has amnesia and they're making her go to school.
I mean, it's 1940. You've all heard the stories about your grandparents playing jacks by the soda fountain. And going and trudging through the snow for 17 miles.
Yeah, but she doesn't speak Dutch.
I know.
Like, can you imagine going to a school you can't understand anything?
You know what? I'll say, though, in college, when you start a new language, they start by teaching you the language. Like, they only teach in the language.
Yeah,
it's all context. You have to figure it out.
When I was doing sign language in college, they had an interpreter come in on the first day, and that's it.
They didn't even do that for my ASL class.
Really?
Yeah. First day, it was just ASL, and you're trying to figure it out. I will say ASL for me specifically, like sign language, was easier to pick up on first day than it is if you're just randomly thrown into a new language.
Yeah. No, they had an interpreter because I did like 4 years of sign language.
That is nice.
And they had an interpreter on the first day of every class. Even
That's crazy.
Well, maybe I think that they did even in our 4th year.
Wow. Yeah, no. I didn't. But my teacher was great.
Yeah.
And I still picked it up even without it. And so a lot of it is just the immersion in general that usually gives you the exposure you need. But yeah, I mean, like, it is daunting, especially when you don't know what you're getting into. You also just, I don't know, watched your grandfather murder somebody.
Yeah.
And you don't speak Dutch.
And he's in your class.
Yeah.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, though, because this all happens in the next episode. In this episode, the grandfather, whose name is Wim. I don't know if we ever said his name, but his name is Wim.
No, I'm just kidding.
He finds the phone, and he's like, what is this? And he sees that it's Sereni on the phone.
Well, he sees her footstep, too, in the fresh soil from the pot that was knocked over.
I guess the end of this episode, he says, I need to find the owner
and bury
them here.
So he already has a plan.
Yeah. He knows what he's going to do. Then we open up the next episode, and actually the opening of the next episode, we see him talking to a tree, addressing it as his mother.
So you can only assume she's buried there.
And then it kind of begs the question, did he kill his mother and put her there? Did she die and he buried her and planted a tree and that became beautiful, and so that's where he got the idea to start doing that for other people?
Yeah, I don't know. And then you got my wonderful interpretation of Dutch, which I can't speak.
Yeah.
But I tried.
Are you going to torment our listeners?
Good morning. No. I'm not good at it.
No, you're not. I'm sorry. I can't lie to you.
I can speak 4 different languages, and I can't speak Dutch. I'll learn it. I'll learn it just for this.
Oh my gosh.
We've considered learning Korean specifically for webcomics.
We have.
So if that doesn't show you our obsession, I don't know what does. But yeah, he's talking to this tree. He honestly, it's sad because this is when he looks the most normal to me.
Yes.
Is sitting, having tea, talking to a tree.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful tree.
Yeah, but he's talking to it like a weirdo. Who just talks to a tree? There was one time when I was a kid and like the Disney Channel or whatever was like, it's Earth Day, go hug a tree. And then I got dared by my sister to go hug a tree. So I did. And I was like, I love you, tree. That's different. He's choosing to do it on his own. Different? He's doing it on his own. He doesn't have a sibling suggesting that he do that.
Grandmother Willow was one of my favorite characters.
Aw. I mean, if the tree talks back, that's different. But then you have an issue.
Okay, so while he's sitting under this tree talking to his mother, this is when he like figures out how to turn the phone on, I guess, because he sees the picture of Camellia, who he thinks is Sereni because he doesn't know Camellia, even though there's a Camellia charm, so maybe he doesn't think that.
Yeah, who knows? Honestly, I mean, yeah, he sees the picture of her. Again, who does that? Ladies and gents, if you're ever like, I'm scared that I'm going to be a murder victim, don't put your picture on your phone. I'm going to say number 1.
Should I change mine then? Because I am on my phone.
I mean, as long as it's not, like, singled out that it's you, I think it's fine.
Yeah, because I guess it could be my husband's phone.
Yeah. They don't know.
Yeah.
You're giving them the little, like, little evading tactics.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah, she ends up, I mean, like, she's terrified. She's about to have to go to school. She's also, like, I don't know, contemplating the fact that this man, who she's still in denial is her grandfather, has killed somebody. And then, of course, like, on top of everything else, they start kind of delving into what the colonization itself was like.
Yeah.
Which is basically like the inlanders were looked down upon. Mm-hmm. So unless you were related to a government official or you are like of Dutch descent, you don't get to go to this school, which is like the school of kings.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the lesser people school.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm just like, it's disgusting, but I know that that's the past. That's just how things were, I guess.
And that's why she lives with the other family, is so that she can go to this school.
Yeah, she's really smart. Like, she does figure out that her grandmother was, like, a really good student.
I do love in the future episodes where she's, like, freaking out and she's like, oh, shit, I have to learn Dutch because I can't ruin my grandma's school record.
Yeah, it is really sad. But also, as she approaches the school, she starts seeing all of these missing posters.
Mm-hmm. And she sees the girl
who was murdered by her
grandfather the previous few days ago.
you know, casually.
Yeah.
No big deal. And then, I mean, there are more posters. Did he kill all of these people? Probably.
It's implied he did.
I mean, he has a lot of flowers.
He has a lot of flowers.
It's a beautiful greenhouse.
It is.
Now I'm going to like never look at greenhouses the same way again. I'm just going to look at it with a side eye and be like,
do you remember?
What do you use for a fertilizer?
Do you remember when the local college here had the corpse flower in the greenhouse? You don't remember that?
No.
That was like 5 years ago. It was big news in the town.
Oh my gosh. A corpse flower?
It's like, do you know what that is?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's a huge flower, and apparently once it like blooms, it smells like a corpse. But it only blooms like once every, I don't know, I'm going to say something ridiculous, like 20 years, and I don't know if that's accurate at all, but it blooms just like once and then dies. So it was here. You could go and like see this flower. I missed it. I saw the news like
I wouldn't have wanted
to
to see that. Who wants to see a flower that smells like a dead person?
Lots of people did. It's like rare here. Like they're not from here, so people wanted to see it. But that greenhouse, I have been to that greenhouse multiple times. I used to go.
The school's greenhouse.
Yeah, I love it.
I have been. It is beautiful, and they have a lot of different, I mean, obviously plants within it.
Yeah.
But I will say, to keep a greenhouse, I would never want to do that. Especially if you have to use dead bodies to fertilize your plants. Which is apparently a great way to do it. I do have a theory that the reason in the modern day of this story that all of his flowers are dying is because he hasn't been killing people in his old age.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're not getting all of the nutrients from the dead bodies.
I mean, it follows. It tracks. I believe it.
I know. It really does.
So the end of this episode, we see that he notices she's back at school, and it ends with just a really, really creepy image of him just staring at her across the schoolyard.
He almost looks scared. To me personally,
Yeah.
It almost looks like he's scared. Like maybe it's because he's like afraid he won't be able to control himself. Like he just wants to kill her right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you could be right. Like maybe he's scared that she's back. He was hoping that he wouldn't see her again, but we know that he has an interest in her. We see in future episodes.
Well, and then he's staring at her like that in class because it turns out they're in the exact same class.
Which is what she was scared of.
Yeah. I mean, living out your nightmare, of course. But yeah, I mean, and then she's living everybody's nightmare, which is being in a class and literally not being able to understand anything. Like nothing that's happening.
Yeah.
It's like essentially a science class and they're learning about photosynthesis.
Yeah. And she doesn't speak Dutch.
Which seems fitting, by the way, to learn about plant life.
Yeah. I mean,
that was my immediate thought.
All the puzzle pieces are coming together.
I know. Look at you. Whoever made this story. Look at you with all of your in-depth thoughts on all of these different matters.
Yeah. It is. I mean, he is continually staring at her through the whole class, and she looks back at him. She's kind of scared and trying to figure out like what to do.
And I will say her desk mate Katerina is just staring at her like, you're having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Can you focus on the class? But
she
in like a nice
her.
effort, the teacher ends up calling on Saruni, or technically Camellia, and Katerina gives her the answer because she can tell, like, she has no idea what's going on. And I'm curious if she understands that this isn't amnesia, because the way that she looks at her and then just kind of like scoffs and walks off.
She does she gives her the answer in another episode, like in a future class. And then they talk to, like, she's talking to her. They're talking more casually. And she even mentions, like, oh, you know, ever since your accident, you've been talking more casually to me. I really like this. Like, you're more bold. Mm-hmm. And so she's saying, like, your personality is different, which doesn't seem to fit someone who just has amnesia.
Yeah, that is true. I will say, though, as soon as she gets the answer right, I do love that they show the teacher being so proud of her, but praising her in Dutch.
Yeah.
So she's still just like, I don't know if
I don't
it was
know what's
right.
going
I don't know
on.
what's happening. My teacher's just crying. Casually, no big deal.
That is like my favorite way to depict crying too, though. Just like the straight line streams. Like you just imagine that someone is sobbing at that point.
I know. And honestly, like the grandfather is not impressed by her getting the right answer, but he also knows that she got it from somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so I do love the line, could it be that amnesia can turn a gifted student into a fool? Mm-hmm. And like immediately you know that he knows something weird is happening.
He knows something.
I mean, he did see the picture on her phone. Again, who does that?
Yeah.
But
the biggest mystery of them all.
You basically find out that he's basically known as like the king of this school. Like she's basically screwed. Her grandfather is the most popular guy in school. Everybody just makes the connection that he also shares the same first name as like the current king.
Yeah.
They're both Willem. And so everybody's just like, oh my gosh, Willem's the coolest. And she's just like, yeah, except you didn't see him kill somebody. But you can't say that because then people will be a little suspicious.
So at this point, too, she decides that she wants to go and learn some Dutch so that she can figure out what's going on in the school.
Yeah.
So she goes to the library, and I resonate with this because it's on the top shelf and she can't reach it, and that happens to me so often. I'm short. My husband is taller than me, but he's not like super tall. So there have been multiple times where I have had to go and ask other random people, which I hate doing, to get something down off a top shelf. And she basically has this experience here.
Well, she doesn't ask.
No, she doesn't ask.
So that is different.
It is different.
She's trying to struggle herself through. She's trying to get it herself.
I mean, I do that as well because I don't want to ask someone.
Yeah.
I wait and see if someone sees me suffering and I'm like, do you want me to help you? And I'm like, yes, please grab this box for me on the top shelf. But he grabs her mouth.
So she screams. I will say this panel confused me.
Okay.
So she screams because she sees him behind her and he covers her mouth.
Yeah.
Which immediately to me, I'm like, ugh.
I mean, if someone did that to me, I don't care if I did scream. I still don't like it.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh. So her instinct is she just immediately bites his hand.
Yeah.
And like, good for you. Just round of applause because love that energy. Yeah, don't let some random man put his hand on your mouth. And so he says, shush, you're in a library. And then she bites him. And then turns out he was literally just trying to grab the dictionary for her.
Yeah.
Or was he?
I think so.
I don't think so.
What else would he be doing, though? What was
Maybe
he gonna
trying
do?
to intimidate her.
I don't know. I think he's trying to feel her out.
I mean, I guess they're both in the same position then.
Yeah. Like, he's kind of like, okay, did you see me kill someone? And I've got to say, she's not doing a very good job of hiding the fact that she knows that he killed someone by screaming when he is present.
Doing nothing.
Yeah.
But he did, like, slink up behind her. I mean, like, it makes sense to me to get startled.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. As a jumpy person, I probably would get startled as well. But would I scream? No.
I might. I'm very expressive with my feelings.
This is true.
But yeah, I mean, essentially, she ends up getting this book, and she realizes pretty quickly that none of the books to teach Dutch in this high school library are of the level that she needs it, because she needs a basic knowledge of this. And so, like, the dictionary she's finding is just a bunch of random words.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just throw random words at yourself, etc. But
we also see that she is delivering food for the mother of the family that she's staying with now, because
the Tomo DiMeggio family.
Yes, and the son, I can't remember what his name is. He isn't home to deliver the food, so she offers to do it. And on her way back, she runs into Wim,
who randomly invites her to his garden in the middle of the night,
which is weird.
Okay, glad we're on the same page. Yeah, you don't just invite people to your garden in the middle of the night. Invite them in the daytime. Yeah. You creep.
So then when they go to the garden, he shows her, well, then she's just kind of in her mind thinking about psychopaths.
Well, I mean, aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
I mean, yeah, she is calculating, specifically, again, Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Though I will say, this happens a lot, especially with, like, crime documentaries as well. Like, I feel like Ted Bundy is one that just comes up a lot.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many more interesting ones that I'm like, I kind of want them to reference more. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here, like, throughout the series, will she, like, make connections to different serial killers?
I don't think so. I think that this was kind of like a one-off. Like,
That's unfortunate. I feel like I'd like the extra references.
yeah, I mean, maybe, but we'll see. So they're having tea in the garden, which he says that he has put petals from his own flowers in this tea. And she's thinking, oh my gosh, are these from the flowers that have dead people underneath them? But also thinking, I can't not drink the tea because then he'll know that I think something is wrong.
Yeah, I also love that he says, I've been taking care of this garden with my whole heart and I'll give you some tea later. She's like, no thank you. Which, like, she's not great at being, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just, like, subtle about her feelings, I guess.
Yeah, she's really not.
Which is fine. But then she gets to meet the cat. She gets to meet Felix.
Yes, a cute cat.
I know. And then she's like, oh my gosh, did the cat transport me to the future? It's so funny to me that that's her immediate thought, because I wouldn't put that together. I'm still hung up on my grandfather being a murderer at that point.
But if you meet a random cat and then you go, you've never met this cat before, and then all of a sudden you're transported back in time and the cat goes with you, wouldn't you assume the cat?
To assume the cat is, you know, a god that transported you into this different time.
I mean,
That's not first thought that pops to your head.
think of the Duvabella.
Oh, true. From Adeline's Darkest Night.
Yeah.
Aw.
It's always a cat.
Yeah, but this cat doesn't have 9 tails.
In Coraline, the cat goes in both worlds too. It's always the cat. It's the cat. I've convinced myself.
You've talked yourself into it. I'm still not convinced. He's got a cute little bell.
I mean,
I love
I'm
it.
not saying he's not a cute cat. I'm just saying he's probably also a god or some reason that she's gone back in time.
Maybe there's like some Indonesian lore about cats that we don't know about. I'll have to do some research. I'll do some digging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I will say that is a common trope. So I suppose I can't take the cat being a god off the table. But, you know, I'm just keeping my eyes peeled. But essentially they both go and they admire the beautiful tree that he was, you know, talking to as his mother. Though he doesn't tell her that at all. She just asks, when did you plant it? He says 6 years old. And to me, I'm like, that's pretty freaking wild.
A 6-year-old planting a tree?
Yeah, 1.
Yeah.
But 2, she immediately jumps to the conclusion that he murdered his mom at 6 years old.
Well, I don't think she jumps to the conclusion that it was his mom, but she does jump to the conclusion that that was his first murder.
Is this tree his first murder? 6 years old? So young.
Yeah. Which I don't think I would jump to that conclusion.
I wouldn't either. I have like a bad feeling in general when he looks at the tree. Like, I know it's like the most beautiful scene probably that we've seen so far in the webcomic. But it just gives me a bad feeling, like a bad vibe. But I have a feeling it was more like, I'm going to make my predictions here. I'm thinking that his mom died by his dad's hands.
Maybe.
And his dad looked down on her for being an inlander. And so it just like instilled in him like this bad thing. And the dad buried her there and he like watched it happen. And that's why now anybody who hates inlanders, this is how he like gets back at them.
Yeah, but I don't think he's specifically killing people who hate inlanders, because we know from earlier that he was already going to kill that girl before she started saying that.
Did he maybe know it already?
I mean, maybe he knew it already, but he just had like such a switch.
Also on the posters, they all look like how they've portrayed the Dutch colonized people.
Yeah, I don't know.
They all have like the lighter hair and the lighter eyes, which is how they've been trying to like differentiate between who's a native Indonesian citizen versus the people who have come to colonize.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it seems like he's got a type.
We also see, though, that in this episode 8, she reaches and grabs his hand while they're at the flower, or while they're at the tree.
And he says, "You're just like my mama," which, like, that gave me the ick.
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't do this. And then this was the part at this point, like, she reaches out to grab his hand, honestly, like, just to console him. Like, he obviously seems sad. He's like, I did this when I was 6. And she grabs his hand, and I'm like, oh my God, please don't be a romance. I've never said that sentence in my entire life, but I was like, do not date your grandfather. It just gave me, like, weird Back to the Future vibes of, like, his mom falling in love with him. And I'm like,
no, we don't like that. But I'm hoping that that's not going to happen, because this is a thriller. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I will say. And so then, like, they have, like, this somewhat touching moment, and then he immediately takes her over to the garden bed, and he just goes, oh, by the way, here's where some marigolds will grow. And it's the freshly, like, covered up grave of the woman that she saw get murdered.
Yeah.
Like, her face, she does not hide this well at all. She, like, immediately goes, okay, I gotta go.
Okay, goodbye.
And tries to run out, and he keeps her from leaving.
Yeah.
And so she's immediately like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me right here, right now. And instead, he's like, let me walk you home.
But also, look at this panel.
I know.
There's a panel where he says that he can't let her go. And, I mean, it's just dark. It's menacing. His eyes, like... The artist does such a good job with his eyes, like, making them electric blue when the rest of the scene is completely dark, and his mouth, like, his teeth look crazy in this panel.
I know. And then immediately it fixes itself. Like, as we go into the 9th episode, it shows, like, it was like a flash of just that, like, psycho killer in him. And then immediately it goes back to him being normal, and he's like, I am gonna walk you home. That's not safe.
Hey, can I walk you home?
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just going to walk a girl back home. It's late at night. I just happened to force her to come into my garden and drink tea in the middle of the night. And now I have to walk her home.
Then when he drops her off, he asks her what her favorite flower is. And what does she say?
Camellia. You dumbass.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking? I mean, technically, okay. Here's the thing. If you know a guy is burying people and, like, growing flowers out of them, you don't tell him what flower you like. You just say, I like them all. Your garden was beautiful. Thank you. Have a good night. Also, never look at me again. Thank you.
Yeah, but then he'll know. But also, I don't know. Is it worse that she said her favorite flower is a camellia and she knows that she lost her phone? She has to assume that he has it.
I mean, honestly, if I'm being real, I wouldn't think that deeply about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't remember what keychain I have. Like, if I had
I
to think
remember
about
what
it,
keychains I have on my keys.
I know what keychain you have.
And I know what keychain you have.
A bunch of Jujutsu Kaisen ones. Like, inarguably, maybe a bit too many. But still, a lot of keychains.
Yeah. I mean...
but I don't, like, think about them. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess that's true.
If someone said, what's your favorite, like, villain character around Christmas time, that's a very specific, like, obviously it's your Krampus keychain.
I'm gonna say Krampus.
But for me, if they were like, what's your favorite Jujutsu Kaisen character? I would just tell them.
You would say Gojo, and he's not on your keychain. So.
I know. I do love him. He's such an asshole. It's my favorite. We've gotten off topic.
Okay. Krampus and Jujutsu Kaisen aside.
Yes, all of this aside is to say she ends up pulling an all-nighter after getting taken back home because she's trying to study Dutch, and guess what? She learned, I can't learn a language overnight. Shocking.
Yeah.
New revelation. No, you cannot. And essentially, they end up seeing Wim walking down the hall with this girl who's, like, clinging to him.
Yeah, her name is Ruse.
Yeah, Ruse. And she's, like, blonde hair, so beautiful, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, as soon as Wim sees Saruni, or technically Camellia. He walks over, asks her how her studies are going, etc., and like ditches this girl. So the girl ends up cornering her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, the jerk bitch move.
Yeah.
Of like cornering her and being like, you don't deserve his attention. I mean, they do a great job at kind of making you hate her, to be honest.
And it's so like, they've got that coin flip, like she, you know, looks pretty and all of that stuff, and then just instantly, as soon as he walks away from her, her face just drops.
I mean, they make her look hideous.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be honest, her true nature is showing.
Yeah.
So it's great. But I will say, this is a pretty pivotal moment because Camellia doesn't know many people here. Like, she gravitates towards the family she's living with, etc. And her classmate and desk mate, Katerina, ends up standing up for her and essentially saying, like, if Wim heard you right now and how you're saying that you're looking down on her for being an inlander, he wouldn't want to be anywhere near you.
She also stands up for herself, too, which is where Katerina says, you know, you're not acting like you used to. You would have never stood up for yourself before. Now you've had this accident, you have amnesia, and all of a sudden you're standing up to these people who you wouldn't have before. Yeah. And she has this realization, too, that she's saying because my grandma was an inlander, she probably didn't feel comfortable talking to the Dutch kids from the school because they were seen as like the better, quote unquote, better students from this school.
Yeah. But I mean, it does seem like Katerina has her best interest in mind. I mean, we're already here in episode 10, and Katerina essentially asks her in Dutch, are you ready for today's lesson? And sees that Saruni has no idea.
Sees that she is not ready for today's lesson.
Yeah, she is not, in fact, ready. And so essentially Katerina just goes, okay, like, maybe we should study with Wim because he has an extensive library. His family's very well off. And so he'll have all of the stuff that you need.
And we also see that Katerina was friends with Wim when they were children. So she tells this to Ruse, too, when they're having that scene in the bathroom. And she's like, Wim wouldn't like you with your true nature. And I know him. I have known him for a while. And you see her, like, flashback of when they were children. And his little, like, he was a little crybaby is what she calls him.
He was cute with his chubby cheeks.
He was so cute.
I will say he was a very cute little baby, but as soon as she insinuates, she's like, we should meet up and do this study get together. He's like, I can study by myself. Fuck off, essentially.
If you want books from my library, like, let me know and I'll bring them to you.
Yeah, I'll bring them to you. You have no business being in my house. And essentially she just goes, oh, that's too bad. I was planning on inviting Saruni. And then he agrees to it.
And she knows that this is going to happen. You see her inner monologue saying, I'm sorry. Like, she knows she's using Saruni. So do you think that she's using her purposefully just to get close to Wim again? Or do you think that she actually does want to be her friend? I don't know, because it does make it seem like she is just using Saruni to get close to Wim.
I feel like my interpretation is that she is kind of using Saruni, but because she sees that Wim wants to be close to Saruni, like she sees the efforts that Wim makes for Saruni that he doesn't make for other people.
Yeah.
And she does say at a certain point, she's like, I'm going to get you two closer.
Yeah.
And so I think she's almost doing it for the friend she once knew. Is like she sees that like he kind of has like retracted into himself, and she's like, oh, I'm going to do this thing to like, sorry, Saruni, I'm not really giving you a choice, but like he wants to be closer to you, so I'll like make this connection happen.
Interesting.
That's my interpretation.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I know. But basically she's just like, well, if you don't want to study with us, we'll just ask somebody else. And he goes, 9 a.m., you better be there.
So then they go to the house, and she immediately starts looking at the family pictures and sees Wim's parents, and this is where we get that Wim maybe didn't like his mom. From when he's talking about the pictures, it seems like he didn't like his mom.
Yeah, it seems like it, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's a picture of his mom and his dad, and I'm still sticking by my theory that he hates his dad.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, I really
don't know.
think...
Pretty, because I guess, so they say so pretty. And he says pretty on the outside, can't say the same about the inside. So I guess, I don't know.
I think he's talking about their relationship.
Maybe.
I think he's insinuating, like, my dad was an asshole, but they put on a pretty picture.
Yeah, I guess that could be. And then we also see a picture of young Wim, and they show that it's torn from something else. So it's not just a picture of him, even though that's all that's in the frame.
Yeah, I think his dad was next to him. I'm still sticking by this theory. I'm, like, putting all my coins in the middle of the table here.
Yeah, you really are.
All my chips. Just put them all in.
Yeah, I mean...
That's my theory. And I'm gonna, like, fall flat on my face, probably. But this is my...
I can't wait to see it.
Alex has been waiting the whole time. Even though my theories are always wrong. Always. It's fine, though.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun that way. Keeps it interesting. But essentially, we are left off in the end of our final episode where she just says, hey, you guys go ahead and study. I have to go to the bathroom. And now she goes, I'm going to start exploring.
Looking for clues. And I've got to say, that is horror movie 101. Don't do that.
You stay with the group.
You stay with the group.
You're making yourself look suspicious because he's going to find you.
Yeah.
And what? You're going to say you're lost?
Yeah. And he's going to pretend to believe you, but he doesn't believe you because he knows that you know that he's a serial killer.
I know that you know.
Yeah.
That you know that he knows that he's a...
So that's where we're left off. We're going to have to start reading week to week now. This releases every Wednesday. If you want to read along with us, we would love to have more people involved in this crazy theory conversation.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to be here on the podcast, we'll do it. No, I'm excited. I think that doing like a buddy read brunch will be really nice. I think we'll have to get together maybe like every like 10 or so chapters.
Yeah.
So maybe like every couple months just to talk with and like keep up to date on this specific series. But I do love it so far.
I do too.
It's great reading a thriller.
I love this series. The art is gorgeous. That's what drew us to this one. The characters are really compelling.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm hooked.
It's great at showing horror, honestly. Like, the faces and everything. It really does have me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
So I am curious how things will continue to go. And I guess we'll be talking with you all here in the next, like, 10 or so chapters. So in a few months.
Yeah.
We'll do another buddy read. But we're looking forward to talking to you again next week. And we will talk to you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.